Hey dealmakers, welcome to the show where it's all about financial freedom with real estate. Let's do this. You don't actually have to raise all the money yourself. You can, again, build your team and partner. There's this thing called capital raisers out there, or fund managers. All they do is raise capital. And why do they do that, right? Why do they do that? In a syndication, joint venturing is very common. And it's because in a syndication, you need two roles. Okay, you need a deal finder, someone to find deals, and then the capital raiser who finds the capital. Those are the two parts of a syndication. And from a personality perspective, you may gravitate towards one or the other. Typically two camps, right? So a deal finder camp is someone who is a little more analytical, a little more numbers oriented, maybe more detailed oriented, maybe a little more operational in nature. That person gravitates naturally to the deal finding and a little bit to the operations side. That's very important in the syndication. The capital raiser personality type really doesn't like numbers that much. They're not analytical. They don't love spreadsheets, okay? But what they do like is they're relationship people. Maybe they have some kind of sales background, they're insurance or a realtor or broker or whatever the case may be. Or they're managing teams, right? They're comfortable dealing with people. They're relationship people. They know how to talk to people. But interestingly, because they don't like numbers, they resist analyzing deals and finding deals, so they make a poor deal finder. So for example, in our environment, if you're working with us, we always put them together, right? We put them through kind of basic training, if you will, and then we're gonna kind of do a little personality profile on them, and we're gonna ask them to specialize in one or the other. If you can do both, that's great, but just because you do doesn't mean just because you can doesn't mean you should. And so because it's much more powerful and gets things done faster if one person is responsible for deal flow and the other person is responsible for raising capital, okay? And you put them together and now you really got something. This is how you can scale much more rapidly with real estate, is by building your team and specifically by bringing on joint ventures. So back to the capital raising problem. If you're a deal finder, okay, you're naturally going to resist talking to people. You might think, oh my gosh, I don't know people, whatever. And that's okay. If you can find deals, you've got something. If you look at a general partnership and you look at a general partnership be split up, about 30% of the general partnership is for the partner or partners or people who bring in 100% of the capital. They get 30% of that. Now, if they sign on a loan, they get a little bit more. If they do a bunch of asset management, they get more. Okay. But you as a deal finder, let's say operator, you still retain 70%. So even if you were to outsource 100% of your capital raising to a partner, you would still retain 70% of GP. It's a meaningful percentage, right? So being the deal finder operator is actually a good thing because most people, a lot of people aren't prepared to do the work and do all that stuff. They'd rather just go out and network and play golf and raise a bunch of money. It's actually easier, honestly. Now, let's go back to being easier. Here's why it's easier, okay? This now is going back to how do I raise money? And let me describe the process. Okay, so number one, you know now how to partner, but you're also going to have to learn how to raise money yourself. And if you're definitely more of the capital raiser person, you're going to end up raising money yourself. But how do you do it? How do you do it? Well, most people say, oh, I don't really know anyone with money, or I don't want to beg my friends and family for money. And you have to change your thinking around raising money. It's not a sales transaction. It's not like a you win, I lose kind of thing. It's actually a 100% win-win. And here's why. The reason this is important is that people who are looking to invest in real estate passively, right? They have the stock market, they invest in the stock market, then they buy some kind of rental property. It doesn't make a lot of money. These are high net worth individuals. They make $500,000 a year, and they're trying to get into real estate because they understand the benefits. They understand the depreciation, the tax benefits, the passive income, all that stuff. The problem is rentals don't produce enough income, and it's a bunch of work. So they get one or two, and they're like, man, this is for the birds. And so how do I get the benefits of real estate without having to do all the work? And you have the answer. As a deal finder operator, you can say, oh my gosh, I have the syndication. I will do all the work for you, and you will invest passively in this deal. Now, this solves several problems for them, right? Because the stock market, there's quite a bit of volatility, not over the 20, 30 years, but certainly in the short term. We're in that environment right now, a lot of volatility. Makes it difficult to make a financial plan, especially if I need to maybe pay for college. I need to get in my 529. Or I'm about to retire, I want to buy a house. I need to get at my equity. Now, if the market's down 15, 20% is a very bad time, so now I can't buy the house. That's bad. So either you don't buy the house or you don't sell equities. Either one is bad. So making the financial planning is very difficult in that way. Also, the stock market does not really pay any meaningful cash flow unless you're doing very advanced options trading with a very large portfolio and using a very small part of your portfolio. It doesn't really generate meaningful cash flow, and then you're paying too many taxes on the gains. Real estate, as these high net individuals know, solves those problems, and you can help them with those problems. The only thing that's required is information. You have to educate them because people are unfamiliar with syndications. So someone who is looking for alternative investments like real estate, and you say, hey, my gosh, how's the stock market treating you? Like, oh my gosh, and hey, you know what? I've been getting into real estate. It's pretty cool. He goes, yeah, I want to get in real estate too. Did you know you can actually invest passively and get the same benefits, but you don't have to do all the work? They're like, what? How is that even possible? And now they're leaning in. You're not selling them. You're not manipulating them. You're sharing information. If they lean in and they want to know more, well, then gosh, then schedule a meeting with them and then educate them about this wonderful alternative investment called passive investing in syndications. That's how that really works. And then you become a little bit more intentional, meaning that you kind of guide the conversation. When you talk to people, you don't just talk about the weather and politics and sports like we all do. You start it just kind of like I said, hey, my gosh, how's the stock market treating you? Right? Or I'm just curious, what kind of stuff are you investing right now? It's really hard to find a good investment right now, right? Or you say, hey, you're not going to believe it. I'm getting into real estate investing, apartments. It's really cool. I've learned that, blah, 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 blah. So guide the conversation more towards investing versus just shooting the breeze. Number one, if someone is interested, then set a meeting, right? Set a meeting and explain to them how real estate and syndications work. Now, obviously, that requires that you know how they work, so you have to get your education somehow. Right? We'd love to work with you, obviously, on that, but there's other ways that you can get information on how syndications work that you can explain to an investor. And then you stay in touch with them. Maybe even put them on an email list, use something like MailChimp, and every once a month, shoot out an email, hey, just visit a property that didn't work out, just thought you'd like to know. Stay in touch with those people, right? And when you do that, you're now building essentially a network of people that know you as someone who's in the real estate space and someone who's looking for capital, who's out there beating the bushes. And the way you never run out of contacts is through always get a referral. If on average, for every person you talk to, you get at least one referral, you never run out of referrals. So never leave someone with at least one referral. What I would suggest is that you ask for 5. And they'll go, oh my gosh, 5. I don't know. Can I give you 2? And it's very simple. It's not like, do you know someone who would invest with me? It's like, is there someone you would recommend that would have a conversation about this? I'd love to tell them about investing passively in real estate. Really excited about it. Is anyone that you think would be interested in learning about that? And then when they say, yeah, so, my neighbor or my boss or my brother or whatever the case may be, have them introduce you. Either do a text chat, okay, or an email. Don't just take their name and number and then call them cold. No, have them introduce you. Hey, Sam's a good guy. Had a conversation. He really taught me a bunch of things I didn't know about real estate investing. It's really cool. I think you guys should connect. I'll let you take it from here. That's what you want. And then you can raise $500,000, $1 million, $2 million this way. I mean, we had one of our mentoring students, her first raise was $4 million. She didn't go on social media or LinkedIn or anything like that. She raised it just like this, person to person. You can raise a lot of money in this way. And it's not rocket science. It's just staying systematic and educating people around you, getting referrals, and really just spreading the information that you've gathered. So this is really the secret to overcoming that second thing, is raising capital. And so that's how you do it. And this is why most people don't even entertain the idea of getting in a multifamily, because of these two things. I don't have the experience. It's too advanced. And also I don't have the money. Right, so it's too experienced. It's too advanced. I need track record. I don't really know how to do it. The thing is, you don't need the track record, and the I don't know how to do it thing is these are all tactical questions. They're very easily learned. You can learn a lot of stuff on our YouTube channel, or even if you go check out our book on Amazon. Right? Now, would it help to have someone looking over your shoulder to make sure you're not making a big mistake? Well, yes. Then you might want to take a look at our mentoring program. But the end is there's a lot of things you can do very quickly to learn about the tactics, the technicalities of a syndication. They're easily learned, right? So hopefully I want to remove some of that. Obviously, there's a lot of things here to cover, but those are the two things that what you think are actually the truth in your mind that's holding you back are actually not real at all. You can overcome them very easily. All right, a great next step. If you want to learn more about an apartment investing, you probably have a lot of questions. We have you can go online and get the book on Amazon, Financial Freedom with Real Estate Investing, but it's 10 hours of audio. If you only have an hour, I kind of condensed everything down in something called Apartments 101. It kind of gives you a really good introduction into the whole world of apartment syndications, kind of how they work, and should answer a lot of the questions that you have. So find the link to that. It's somewhere here near this video, and maybe in the description, or maybe in the video itself. So check it out. Apartments 101 is probably a great next step for you to find out more about getting into apartment investing. Catch you next time.